In this video, we're going to be taking a look at dividing whole numbers. Now you'll need your Go Math book out and your math journal and a pencil, and I want you to turn to page 107 in your Go Math book. Now the essential question we'll be taking a look at today is how do you divide multi-digit whole numbers? So we're going to take a look at the exploring activity. I want you to look at this with me on page 107. It says you can use estimation to predict the quotients of multi-digit whole numbers. So first of all, a local zoo had a total of 98,464 visitors last year. The zoo was open every day except for 3 holidays. On average, about how many visitors did the zoo have each day? So first of all, what you need to do to estimate the average of numbers of visitors per day, you can divide the total number of visitors by the number of days. To answer the quotient, first estimate the dividend by rounding the number of visitors to the nearest 10,000. So you can see 98,464 rounded to the nearest 10,000 is 100,000. Whenever you're estimating anything, you always want to deal with round numbers, not numbers that have a lot of digits, but the least amount of digits with any value. So you can see a lot of zeros here, only one digit with value. And it says there were 365 days last year. How many days was the petting zoo open? 362. So we're going to round that to the nearest 100, which is 400. So now we estimate 100,000 divided by 400 is going to give us 250. So the average number of visitors per day last year was about 250. Now, keep in mind, whenever we're estimating, we're not getting exact answers necessarily. Okay, it's just an estimate. Now, a way that you can check is how can you check that your quotient is correct? And I want you to write this down as well. It says multiply the divisor and the quotient. If this product is equal to the dividend, then the quotient is correct. Now, just a quick reminder here, the dividend, okay, that's the number you're dividing. The divisor is the number you're dividing that larger number by, or that first number by, in a division problem. So we had 100,000 divided by 400. The 100,000 is the dividend. Divisor is the second number here, and then the quotient is your answer. So it says, do you think that your estimate is greater than or less than the actual answer? And we see less than, and the reason for that is the divisor was rounded up. Okay, so 362, okay, we see that rounded up to 400. It's rounding up 38 times there to 400. So that's a quick way that you can use estimating to find quotients. And let's turn over to page 108 in your Go Math book, and let's take a look at long division. Now it says the exact average, and we're going to take a look at that problem we were working on. It says the exact average number of visitors per day at the zoo and the Explore activity is the quotient of 98,464 and 362. You can use long division to find this quotient. All right. So we see the question again. So we see here step 1, 362 is greater than 9 and 98. So what we're seeing here on page 108, these are the different steps that you use to divide. Now, division, you may or may not have learned this. We have steps. So steps to a division problem: divide, multiply, subtract, check, bring down. And then you go back up again. Divide, multiply, subtract, check, bring down until you don't have any other numbers to bring down. An easy way to remember this is, does McDonald's sell cheeseburgers? So the D is for divide, multiply, subtract, check, bring down. Does McDonald's sell cheeseburgers? I want you to write this down in your notes. It's just an easy way to remember how to divide. So you can see those different steps here. Step 1, 2, and 3. Dividing, multiplying, subtracting, checking, and bringing down, all the way until that final number has been brought down and you have a remainder of 0. Now if there's a remainder, you can put a remainder there, or even a decimal. You can carry the dividend out as well. So let's take a look at number 3 together. We have 34,989 divided by 321. I want you to write this down in your math journal, and we will work on this together. All right, so my first step that we're going to do here is divide. We're going to take that 321, this is my divisor, and this is my dividend, 34,989. So I'm going to look at that 321. First of all, look and see, can 321 go into 3? It cannot, it's too large. What about 321 going into 4? It cannot, it's too large. 321 going into 349? Yes, it can. Something else that you can even do is with this divisor, you want to round it, maybe even to 300 there. That could help as well. Would help you with some of your estimating. You're estimating some of those answers there. All right, so 321 I'm going to divide. It's going to go into 349 one time, most amount of times, without going over this number, without going over 349. So we've divided, now it's time to multiply. So we're going to multiply 1 times 321. You put your the first number of the factor after you've multiplied right underneath that number in your for your quotient here. So 321 times 1, I have 1 times 1 gives me 1, 1 times 2 gives me 2, 1 times 3 gives me 3. Now we've multiplied. Now it's time to subtract. Use different color of ink here for the different steps. 9 minus 1 is 8. 4 minus 2 is 2. 3 minus 3 is 0. So we check that 28 has to be less. The answer to your subtraction problem has to be less than your divisor here. If it's greater than the divisor, you have to adjust your quotient to a higher number. So this is less than, so I can keep moving on. I've subtracted, I've checked. Now it's time to bring down that next number. I'm going to bring down that 8. So now I have 288. I'm going to go back again to dividing. I'm going to look at it this way, 321 into 288. Now I know 321 cannot go into 288 because 288 is less than 321. I don't just bring the next number down. I have to put a 0 in my quotient. Now I know it goes in 0. I don't have to do 0 times 321 and write 0 down here. Whenever you put a 0 in the quotient, you just go back to bringing it down. So now I have 2,889. So I'm thinking about 321. I'm thinking about 300. Okay, now I can even take a look at this number and think that 2,889, that's close to 2,700. A lot of times with division, you want to think about compatible numbers in order to make some estimates. Okay, so I'm thinking about 3 into 27. Let's say it goes 9 times. We'll try this out. So I've divided. Now it's time to multiply. 321 times 9. And do this right off to the side. I'll even erase this as well. So 321 times 9. 1 times 9 is 9. 9 times 2 is 18. Put my 8 there. Carry the 1. So I have 2,889. I've multiplied now. My next step is subtracting. 0. I can check. That's obviously less than 321. I don't have any other numbers to bring down, so my answer is 109. So remember, divide, multiply, subtract, check, bring down. Does McDonald's sell cheeseburgers? And that's a way to remember the steps of division. So what I want you to do is work on number 4 at your seat all by yourself. And when you're finished, you can press play and I'll have the answer for you. So I want you to work on this now. So the answer for 4 is 587. Check your answer and hopefully it matches up to mine as well. So sometimes when you divide, you have exact answers for your quotient. Sometimes when you divide, you have what's called a remainder, and that's what's left over after you divide. So it says dividing with the remainder at the top of page 109. You'll need to turn there if you have not already. So suppose you and your friend want to divide 9 polished rocks between you so that each of you get the same number of polished rocks. You will each get 4 rocks with 1 rock left over. You can say that the quotient 9 divided by 2 has a remainder of 1. So let's take a look at that that example, a real world example here on page 109. It says Kaylee has 1,850 books. She must pack them into boxes to ship to a bookstore. Each box holds 12 books. How many boxes will she need to pack all of those books? So what we can see here, you can do 1,850 divided by 12. You can see the answer is 154 with a remainder of 2. So they did all the work for us there. And let's look at number 5. So we need to figure this out. So the quotient is 154, remainder of 2. We can write it 154, capital R2. The capital R represents remainder. Now, let's take a look at this, interpreting the answer. What does a remainder mean in this situation? I want you to write this down. So we can see, after packing 154 boxes, there will be 2 books left over. Now, there's not anywhere in this question that says, you know, the remaining books will not be shipped or anything like that. So it says how many boxes does Kaylee need to pack the books? You need to explain. So 155 total boxes. Why is that? Because there's 2 extra books needed, and there is a box that those books need to go into. So it's not 154 remainder of 2. That's how many boxes will be sent. A total of 155. The reason for that, again, is that even the 2 books, even though there's only 2 of them, they will still need a box. Now let's take a look at number 7, 5,796 divided by 25. We'll go through this problem together, and I want you to get out your math journal and write this down. So 5,796 divided by 25. Let's work on this together. So first step, we're dividing. 25 cannot go into 5, but 25 can go into 57. How many times? 2 times. Now we're going to multiply 2 times 25. Remember, the first number of the product will go right underneath the quotient. So 2 times 5 is 10. Put a 0 there, carry my 1. 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5, so 50. Now it's time to subtract the second number here. 57 minus 50 is 7. I'm going to check. Is 7 less than 25? Yes, it is. So because of that, I can bring down the next number for 79. Now, let's take a look at what we do after we bring down. We go right back up to dividing again. 25 into 79, the most amount of times without going over, is going to be 3 times. Now we multiply again. 3 times 5 is 15. Put my 5 there, right underneath my answer in the quotient. 15, carry the 1. 3 times 2 is 6, plus 1 is 7, for 75. Now we subtract. You can see I'm just following these steps. 9 minus 5 is 4. Bring down my 6. I'm sorry, forgot to check. 4 is less than 25. I can bring down my 6 for 46. Think about the most amount of times 25 can go into 46 without going over. It's going to be 1 time. 1 times 25. We'll have to multiply now. 1 times 5 is 5. 1 times 2 is 2. Multiplied. Now it's time to subtract. My 21, I check it, less than 25. So my answer is 231 with a remainder of 21. Now I want you to do number 8 all by yourself, and then when you're finished, I'll have the answer for you. So I want you to work on number 8 now. Okay, so you can see the answer is 46 with a remainder of 16. Now what I want you to do is work on number 9 all by yourself, and you can work on that now. So you can see the answer is 105 bags with 3 rocks left over. Okay, so let's take a look at page 110, and we're going to look at that essential, and that is what steps do you take to divide multi-digit whole numbers. So we can see the steps we want to take. We want to divide, multiply, subtract, check, bring down. You keep doing that until you run out of numbers to bring down. And an easy way to remember that is, does McDonald's sell cheeseburgers? So this concludes the video dividing whole numbers. If you have any questions about this concept, please come and see me.